And that experience forced me to separate two ideas that I had previously treated as the same, and sometimes I still do, which is agreement is about shared opinion, and alignment is about shared commitment. Agreement means we all believe the same option is the correct one, and alignment means we understand the goal, we understand the trade offs, and we can commit to execute the chosen path together. Hi, and welcome back. Okay, so in this episode, I want to talk about alignment and more specifically about the difference between alignment and agreement and why confusing the two can quietly slow teams down. I will start with a situation that shaped how I think about these two concepts. Then I will walk through a couple of ideas that help me reframe it. And at the end, I will finish with one practical thing that you can use the next time you are disagreeing with somebody at work. So let me start with a situation that made this quite clear to me. A few years ago, I was working as an engineering manager, and we were working on a product that had a lot of uncertainty. And the product team decided that it was time to change the direction of that product. What this meant is that we were going to move away from all the work that the engineering team had already been investing in order to prioritize this new opportunity. What happened is that the product team believed that this was an opportunity that was time sensitive, and the design team had some concerns about the complexity that this opportunity might introduce in the overall product. And from an engineering side, I was really worried about the technical cost of this opportunity as well as the impact of changing the direction quite often. All the discussions that we were having about this change of direction were really thoughtful. Everyone on product design engineering had really reasonable arguments, but we kept revisiting the same points over and over again across multiple meetings. And at the time, I remember that what I kept telling myself is we need more time to find clarity before actually committing. And now looking back, or even at the time after reflecting on this, I realized that clarity wasn't really the problem. What was happening is that I was waiting for agreement. I wanted everyone to agree. And that didn't happen. Eventually, the decision was made and we moved forward. And it was mainly done because leadership came to us and I said, hey, folks, what are you doing? Why are you spending so much time on this? Let's move forward. And that experience forced me to separate two ideas that I had previously treated as the same, and sometimes I still do, which is agreement is about shared opinion and alignment is about shared commitment. Agreement means we all believe the same option is the correct one, and alignment means we understand the goal, we understand the trade offs, and we can commit to execute the chosen path together. And while these two things can overlap, they often don't. And at least in my experience in fast moving environments where you don't have a lot of information to have 100% certainty of your decisions, it is really hard, especially across functions. You will have engineering that might optimize for reliability and sustainability of what they're building, product that might be focused on the impact and the learning speed, and design that might be optimizing for usability and user experience. Those different perspectives are really valuable because they surface risk and blind spots between each other. But if we assume that every single debate must end in full agreement before moving forward, decision making can really be slowed down. And in fast moving environments, this is really important because decisions are basically bets that are made under a lot of uncertainty. But at the same time, they are experiments that you can revisit later on, right? So in that context, the most useful question is not, hey, do we all agree this is the best option? The most useful question is, are we aligned enough to commit at trying this? Alignment means I might still believe that there is another option that I would have chosen, that it might have been better for me based on my perspective, but I understand why this decision was made. I understand the time frame where we're committing to, and I'm willing to support the execution of that decision. So as you take on more leadership responsibility, your job increasingly becomes more of helping people with different perspective and maybe different incentives to move in the same direction, even when it is really obvious that they're not agreeing. And this is hard. Sometimes you have to be comfortable saying things like, hey, I would have chosen a different approach. I think there is an approach that might be better, but I understand the decision and I'm aligned. And in my experience, that kind of clarity is what creates stability to the team. We should normalize disagreement, and we should all understand that the lack of commitment is what causes friction in teams. Okay, so here's one thing that you can try. The next time you're in disagreement with your product manager, hopefully you get into disagreement with your product manager, instead of continuing the debate until you and them agree, stop and try asking a different question. Ask, are we aligned enough to commit to this decision and move forward? And framing it this way shifts the conversation completely. It moves the discussion away from whether you're right or they're right towards, do we think that you and I as PM and EM have enough clarity and trust to move forward together? And if the answer is yes, make that commitment explicit. And if you want, set a moment 2 weeks from then to revisit whether or not that was the right decision. And if the answer is no, then the conversation becomes much clearer. You can actually ask to each other, what is missing for us to be aligned? All right, that's it. Alignment is not agreement. And once you internalize that, you'll have much more clarity and decisions will move much faster, which is crucial for the survival of any startup. That's it for today. I hope you found this useful. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.